All right, welcome everybody. Comic Book Club. We are reviewing JLA versus
Stop one spot to
Avengers.
fix.
JLA versus Avengers issue 2, and this week's choice was D Runk. So we are going to lead off with the D Runk man himself.
Hey, it's me, the D-Rock Man. All right. Here's the cover.
That is
Pretty
the
awesome.
cover.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the cover. It's got a little backside to it.
Yeah, I think I like the backside a little bit more. Actually, it's kind of cool.
Baby's got back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the baby does have back on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all right. So there is our cover done by George Perez,
Mm-hmm.
who's always credited for his quality with busy scenes.
Mm.
Um, and I personally would agree, not to steer anyone else's vote. Is this image flipped?
I don't
No,
know.
you're fine. You're fine. You're right.
No, it's reading correctly. Yeah.
Okay.
It's flipped for you, but not for us.
Okay. Good. Um, anyway, so man, I forget how much of a read this is.
It
It's a
was the
lot.
motherfucker to read, wasn't it?
um, so this book really starts off with the Avengers and the Justice League squaring off in Metropolis, and they're all just going after it. Um, Pretty cool panel right there. They're all squabbing a bit, and um, one of my favorite parts of this is watching Batman and Captain America uh,
Yeah.
wrestle a little bit. That was pretty fun. Um, like they're starting to just like feel each other out. They're not even really going full at it. And by the time they're done feeling each other out, they both kind of realize that the other dude might be able to whoop their ass. So they instead of fighting, they decide to talk about it, um, which is pretty cool. Like they use their heads.
Well, they're both team leaders, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it was cool to see them. They were smart enough to get that sorted out. So basically, if you don't remember the last issue, the Grandmaster is competing against Krona from DC and Grandmasters from Marvel, and they're doing in a competition to see who can collect the most artifacts from the other world. And right here, that's where Wanda is kind of she all of a sudden finds out where all the things are. Like she got blasted with the energy that told her where all the items are.
Mm-hmm.
And they decide to start going. Um, Give me 1 second here. This is killing me.
I guess Wanda is more powerful in the DC universe because of the
Yes,
type of
because the
magic.
magic is stronger.
Yeah.
Well, she seemed to be kind of straining herself in
Well,
different
she was training
places.
herself to try to control the powers that
Yeah,
she was given.
she's not used to that kind of power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
she,
when Flash is there, he's got no speed force, right?
Yeah.
yeah. So like right here, she zaps the Avengers to like put them where these artifacts are so they can
They need
start.
to be. Yeah.
Yeah, so they can start getting after them. That's when Superman's like, "Hey, where the fuck did they go?" And the Flash was like, "Ah, I know where these artifacts are. Let me beam y'all over there." Which is funny because like right here, one of the artifacts is the Green Lantern battery, and Kyle
Yeah.
Rayner is like, "Hey, don't lose my battery." And Flash was like,
First thing they
"No
do is
problem,
lose the
Kyle.
battery.
I'll breeze by as soon as you're done. Don't worry, your battery is safe with me." And then literally the next page, two pages later,
Yeah.
there's Hawkeye with
Well,
the fucking battery.
this is Wally, right? This isn't Barry, if I
Yeah,
remember
this is
correctly.
Wally. Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Wally has
Wally
a
West.
tendency to always seem to not quite get the finish.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I
So it's not
really
Barry Allen,
appreciated
it's
that.
Wally West.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Kid
Um,
Flash.
and then wondering where do they start doing this? eventually they start keeping track of who's got what, or what the score is.
Yeah, they start
Um,
doing that later on.
Yeah.
it's pretty cool watching Wonder Woman fighting Hercules there.
Hercules.
Uh, just a lot of
Well,
people fighting.
Hercules has the disadvantage of having the same name as the man who chained her mother.
It's
Yeah,
a little bit of a throwback to Wonder Woman 1 because she battled Hercules in that one too.
Mm,
yeah. So right here is where what I'm talking about. They start like capturing artifacts. So it goes 2-1, and that's in favor of DC.
Mhm.
3-1 in favor of DC. Then Marvel gets another one, 3-2. Um, so they're starting to rack up these artifacts pretty quickly.
mm.
Here's another more little bonding from Cap and Batman. Uh, Cap is like, "Oh man, you lost a partner," and he knows what that's like. Um, so they're talking that over and going over strategies. You got some Galactus action, which is pretty cool. Krona really wants to have a chat with this guy because Galactus saw the beginning of the universe, and that's like a
Mhm.
driving force in the story. Is Krona wants that information? He wants that knowledge. Um, so yeah, man, they're really battling. They're looking for these artifacts. Here's Black Panther captures one. That's
The
the
Medusa mask.
What is it? The mask of something?
The Medusa mask. What's his
Oh,
name?
Medusa
Psycho
mask.
Pirates.
yeah.
Oh,
Psycho
Psycho
Pirates'
Pirate's
little
mask. Okay.
weapon.
They're they're still just going after it. Here's a cool little scene between Quicksilver and Flash, where Flash comes out on top by pretty much just knocking the water out from underneath Quicksilver, which I thought was pretty cool.
Well, if I remember correctly, Quicksilver's a bit of a hothead and he does things before he thinks more. Where, even Wally is like very, very good at strategizing. Well, let's see if this will work. And he'll do his little, it doesn't surprise me that Quicksilver's
But they
taking
seem
Yeah.
to
care
have
of.
it where they one up each other a few times.
Yeah.
Cool little scene where Darkseid finds the Infinity
Infinity
Gauntlet,
Gauntlet.
but in the DC universe, it doesn't do anything. So he knows it's powerful, but he's like, it don't do anything for me. So here you go. Um, and that's where the Flash catches it. And now the score is 6-5.
Justice League.
Yep.
Mhm.
And this is where it gets really good. Now they're down to the last artifact and they're in the Savage Land. Score 6-5 in favor of Justice League. And basically the Avengers need to get this to tie it. And the Justice League needs to get it to win. They start shooting arrows at it. Both of the arrow people are doing that. Then you see Superman and Thor going after it, which is a lot of fun, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Um, I don't think they really insulted either character, which is pretty cool.
Was it
Um,
Thor and Superman that were sort of hot heads at the end of the previous one?
it was
Yeah.
Captain America and Superman that
Yeah,
got
that's what I
really,
thought. It was Captain America. That's why I was wondering why Captain America changed so much in this one. I was a little bit
Because
confused with that.
because Batman seems to have that effect on people. You don't quite know what to expect from him, especially
yeah.
if you're an unknown quantity.
Yeah, I was a little bit
And,
confused by for that part.
and I think Batman, like the way he attacked him, like he realized
He
like,
was
hey,
checking him out rather than fighting him.
yeah,
Mhm.
this guy is very capable and he's not trying to absolutely destroy me, which tells me something about him, which,
I mean, the
they
fact that
didn't,
yeah,
yeah, they didn't spell it out, but I do think it kind of, it resonated with me. I, I, I like seeing this Superman. I like it when he looks angry and he's got the red eyes and he just blasts them.
Mm.
I
Um,
mean, when you think about it, Batman can handle Superman if using judo and stuff if Superman's not overwhelming him with super strength.
yeah,
I
So
mean, you could
it,
think that way if you want, but that's kind of silly. Um, Batman and whatever his fucking name. Who was
War-
it?
Oh,
No.
Super Captain America, you mean?
Yeah, Batman and Captain America were just kind of like, "Hey, look what I do in my world. Look at my superhero." They were doing that kind of shit the whole time. I
Yeah,
thought.
and it's cool because like the Justice League, and I mentioned this a little bit in the last one, but the Justice League looks at the Avengers as if they have kind of just let their world crumble, and the
Mhm.
Avengers look at the Justice League as if they are ruling tyrants,
Yeah.
forcing everyone to worship them. So they got a cool little difference in ideology. Here you got Superman catching Mjolnir and then just knocking the shit out of him to the point where like the fight stops and they're like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, all the Avengers were
Which
like, "Oh my
Well,
god,
truly
everybody's
Thor might."
watching the
shows,
fight because it's like the two big guys are going after each
yeah,
other.
but it truly shows who's the most powerful of them all.
Mm-hmm.
But Superman does give him his flowers. He goes, "He's the toughest opponent I've ever fought." But that's when he's kind of vulnerable because he really put out a lot of energy fighting Thor, and they all just kind of mollywop him, which is kind of funny. Um, yeah, now they're still after that cube, and at some point here, uh, it looks like Quicksilver is about to tie it up, and then Captain America pulls
Pulls
the
his
heel
shield.
turn, yeah, knocks it out of his hands and gives it up to Batman, giving the
The just,
Avengers the win, or the Justice League the win.
yeah.
Um, and that's where Batman starts to get ready. He's like looking at the cube and he's getting fixing to use it. That's where Grandmaster kind of puts him like, "Hey, that's not for you to use." And then Grandmaster's like, "Hey, I won. You little bitch, Krona, get out of here." And Krona's like, "Yeah, I zapped the fuck out of you."
Mm.
Another heel
So he's
turn.
an asshole.
Yeah, he's an asshole. Um, and then all this squabbling here has Galactus come up out of the nowhere to like ask what the hell is going on. And that's where you can really see Krona getting after him, like, "Hey, I want some answers. Quit fucking with me." And he starts zapping him, really. Um, and then that's where Grandmaster wakes up, and kind of a cool little scene.
So Kronos
He's
would
like,
be equal power to Galactus. Is that the way they're trying to suggest? Because they was kind of like they're toe to toe.
"Yeah, no, he looked like he was pretty tough in this one. Like I wasn't too big of a Krona snob before reading this, so maybe they exaggerated him a little bit, but it was cool though. Here Grandmaster's like decimated on the ground, and he's like, "Hey, those items weren't for the players to use; they were for me." And he wanted so Grandmaster selected what items they would be uh, using so that he could manipulate them, and that's where we leave off, and like you see reality getting distorted and warped.
Hmm.
Well, I'm not as familiar with the Marvel artifacts, but I know all those DC ones are very powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, the Marvel ones are crazy powerful.
Yeah, but the
Oh
only
yeah.
ones
The
I'm
Infinity
actually
Gauntlet.
familiar
I
with
mean,
is the Gauntlet, the Nullifier, and the Tesseract. That's the only ones I'm familiar with.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I
But
wasn't
yeah,
familiar with
so
every one of them, to tell you the truth. But
yeah. All right, so I'll hit you guys with my ratings here. I love the cover. I'm gonna give the cover a 4. Um, I will give the interior art. I want to give that a 4.5. I thought it was really well done and consistent throughout. Um, Story, I'm gonna go 2.5. I enjoyed the hell out of the story, but it is a very long read, and I do think there are times where you could have shortened it up a little bit, especially with how much I like the art. I don't know if it always needed as much dialogue to tell their story. But I didn't hate the story. There was a time where I was like, whoo, I'm reading here for a minute. So 2 4s and 2.5. I'm going to give it a overall a 3.25.
All right, fair enough. So It's up to you who goes next, Steve.
Let's go with Big Matt.
All right. Tear her up, Matt.
When it comes to this book, I really was like giddy as a kid. It didn't bother me the length. Because I almost went, oh, when it was done, because I was really enjoying it. Mostly because I know, like, as I said, the artifacts I know, like, I got to see the bell, the wheel, the one there from the old Happy Harbor, Rhode Island, old Justice League headquarters back in the Snapper car days, right? So, as an old Justice League, as an old comic fan, there were some things in it I really liked. I also like the calling him Purple Arrow, for example. What's your name? Purple Arrow? Like, okay.
Yeah.
And you know what? I honestly think that the best characters in the book were the Flash and the Vision. I don't know why they just come across as really cool in this one. The Flash because like he's everywhere, and the Vision because he makes a great, like Superman is a secondary leader. He makes a great secondary leader for the Avengers. And I actually found, because Captain America was away for a good chunk of the book, that as a field leader, he did pretty well. Now, cover. I give the cover a 4 because I'm a big Perez fan, and he nailed it with the cover. I mean, he's in his zone where he does lots of characters. So, interior art, I'm going to go with a 3.75 because it's really good, but there were times that panels felt a little repetitive. And I don't think he varied enough. Like for example,
Prez did the interior as well?
Yeah. I think so.
For example, there's always this panel of the Flash going like this. It's always the same one. It made me feel it was like, like he only did one thing. It was the same handout every time. Like he wasn't giving the look of the run like some of the other guys who done the Flash over the years did. So I'm just using that as an example. Now the writing, I'm actually going to give it a 2 because although I loved the writing like crazy, there was also literally 30 pages of insert hero here, insert artifact here, bang. There was no real, it was just like, they fight for a page and a half and move to the next one. And it's the same thing over and the same thing over. It didn't
We've
get
had a few stories like this, by the way.
Yeah, I know. But this one, because it was longer, I noticed it more. Okay. To me, it got cool when we got to when Galactus showed up and we got to read a little more and see a little more things going on. Although I did get a real chuckle out of Darkseid. This glove doesn't work for me. Throw it away. He doesn't know if he just snapped his fingers, he'd. Although it might not have worked in that universe, right? But
well, they were trying to make it work, but it didn't.
Anyway, overall, I give the book a 3.5.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Matt. Who would you like to go next?
You can go ahead, Biggie. We'll let Dallin be the grand finale tonight.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay. Pressure on me.
Scrape me on over. Sorry about my background. I'm being lazy tonight. I think this is just a difference in what people likes. Like last week, I enjoyed the Hulk. I was just like, this is fun. It's quick. It wasn't a lot to think about. I understood what the hell happened. This book, I read it and I was like, usually I read a book twice if I don't get it. This one, I've said to myself, I was like, even if I read it 2 times, I'm not going to understand it. So I was just like, I'm not going to read this fucking thing 3 times. I just kind of followed it. I understood what D said. I'm glad D reviewed it. It helped me understand it more because, the art, I don't like the Scarlet Witch shit with her, her face was kind of weird to me.
She looked very distressed.
Yeah, I didn't like that either, but it was more because of the emotion she was giving.
Yeah. When she was distressed, I get your distress, but why do you look so weird? You know, you're just like
Yeah, she's haggard.
you're not pretty. You're like you look hideous. Your hair's all fucked up. I mean, he did good job at making her look fucking weird. It was like okay, it's like splashing some really cool shit and have a lot of conversation about what's going on. So I agree. Like the dark side with the Thanos, that was cool, but nothing really happened. He was just like, "Oh, it don't work here, so fuck it." And it's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, okay," you know. And I kind of would like to see. That's always been the question. Well, who's cooler, dark side or Thanos? Like, let him
I
do
think that
shit.
this would have been a little better if that was the matchup. The
Mm.
bad guys, Thanos and Bart Darkseid.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I think of them as being very like they're the same character, just different. Like,
I appreciate all of the energy and work put into this, but like I was saying, like we read a Silver Age book last week, and it felt like a third smaller than this modern book, like to me, and it was just so much easier to understand what was going. And usually Silver Age is like, oh damn, you got to drudge through it. This felt like this is like Schumberg. It's like there's a lot of club. You know, I know Perez is like the put a lot of shit in. I'm not criticizing. He's a great fucking artist. All right. Like I understand he's a great artist. It's just a lot to fucking go through. Like you had the thing pop up for no fucking reason. It's like, oh yeah,
well, it's cameos.
yeah, but still, like, you know, fucking Captain America's like, hey, Batman, check out my friend. It's Thing, and Batman's like, oh, he seems interesting. He's like, well, he's a really fucking good guy. Poof, gone. It's like, okay,
Yeah. It's like, why is he here?
we get it. Like he could bring people in. Okay. I appreciated Batman, huh?
It's times like that you can see sometimes Batman snobbing, having grown up rich, kicks in.
I don't know.
What?
Yeah,
Because of the way he commented on the way he talked a little bit.
I enjoyed
but
I enjoyed Batman the most, and I'm not a big Batman guy, but Batman was smart enough to be like, hey, let's fucking make buddies here. And at the end of it, he was able to win the contest and turn Captain America completely from being a prick to being a good guy. So I can appreciate that. Like Batman's a smart fucking guy. So that was my favorite hero of the book.
I
The
did like the fact the Atom was there.
Hercules and Wonder Woman, that was cool because like I because of her background, I like seeing Black Panther pop up, but it was just too far and few in between for me to be like, oh, this is a great fucking story. I think it's a great story. I just wish it was in smaller parts for me to be able to understand it better and maybe more focused on what the fuck they were doing instead of just jumping all around, jumbling and shit, you know, like
that's what I thought.
all right. So I'm gonna go with the cover. I'm gonna give it a 3, man. Like it's just not my kind of shit. I mean, it's better than an average book. I think it is better than issue 1. Issue 1 was just really too hyper. I think he has like a too much of a similarity thing. He's good with faces, but the faces ain't like there ain't enough line work in it for me. It don't really. There's not enough.
Detail.
Not enough. Yeah, detail and shit. It's just kind of like quickly put together. I guess I don't know how to explain it. So I'm gonna go 3. Inside art, it was fun, but there is some shit that I could be like, oh, this isn't my kind of stuff, you know, like it felt like a Fox cartoon episode. That's what it reminded me of, like that kind of art, like Foxy Marvel. Now there is some good shit. I think the best shit was the Batman and
Yeah, the Batman
Captain America
Captain
shit.
America parts. Yeah,
those are done pretty well. Like the rest of it wasn't as good to me, but I'm gonna go. He's a talented guy. I'm gonna go 3.5 for inside art. I liked it better than the cover and story. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 and overall 2.5. Overall, I'll go, let's see, 3.5, 2.5. I'm going to give it 2.7. 2.5. I'll give it a 3. I think that, yeah, averages out. All right. Alan.
Okay, I'm probably going to give it the harshest scores. um, this is one of those things where I think this happens way too much in some of the books that we're reading. I don't know why we keep on choosing these kind of books where they have like a lot of stuff to do, but it's a lot of like chasing after little things. Do you know what I mean? So they all, there's all these little thingies that they got to collect, and we're going to do it all in one book. We have to have all the fights, we have to have all the cameos, we have to have all the characters, we have to have all the scenes. There's a lot that they're trying to do in a short amount of time, and nothing ever gets fleshed out properly in that way. You know what I mean? Like, and it almost gets repetitive. Just like what was the one where we read, and it was like the Justice League version of it, where it was like Superman and Batman went up against the Brainiac. What was that book?
I don't remember.
Was that Superman Annual?
Oh, maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like one of those ones. But it was like, it was the same situation. You have the characters, they fight, they're trying to go after the item, repeat again, new scene, next item. And and you don't know how they got there, really. They kind of said, oh, they got spread out, but then yet they kind of do it again, and they collect the item, it disappears because it gets getting collected by the Grand Master. It was like, I just felt like it was very repetitive and very confusing at the same time. If you didn't know the characters, it would have been even worse. There was a few characters that I wasn't necessarily familiar with. I'm not super familiar with Wonder Man and all those ones. And also the Red Tornado, I'm not super familiar with. They had Vision against the Red Tornado, which they're very, in a way, they were kind of suggesting that, hey, we ripped off either Marvel ripped off DC or DC ripped off Marvel. And
well,
they
the
were
Red Tornado has been around since the mid 60s, so probably about the same time as the Vision.
I know, they both are kind of like, oh, he's an android kind of guy.
Golden Age was Vision, but yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
And yes, actually, you got the android Human Torch.
Human Torch at that time, yeah.
Yeah.
But Vision's actually old, yeah. But the point is, like, it's just a jumbled mess. My point. That's one thing that just kind of bothers me. I could see, like, the overall story, not bad. I mean, the idea is that you have to collect all the MacGuffins, and if you collect all the MacGuffins, somebody will win. And the kind of twist in terms of the reader's mind that wasn't mentioned by anyone so far was that the Grand Master, who is Marvel, actually wanted DC to win because there was a twist. Kronos said, is it Krona? Krona, I guess? Krona?
Yeah, Krona.
Krona said, oh, I'll get your team, you get my team. Like, okay, sure. So basically so Batman and Captain America figured that out because they were able to watch the tapes. Which is, why would you record that conversation? But
good
okay.
point. Shit, I didn't even think of that. Good job.
Yeah, they watched the tapes and said, oh, wait, based on these tapes, it is, this team that should win, or we're all dead. We're all dead if the Grandmaster doesn't win. So that's why Captain America threw his shield and actually saved the day in terms of letting the Justice League win.
Yeah.
But there was just so much stuff that was happening, and I felt like there were so many times where they were like, "Oh, we got to get this. We didn't have this character. We got to get them in." Like the Thing, I really felt like Biggie was right about that. It drove me nuts. I was like, why is the Thing here? What is going on here? This is just, you could tell it was like, let's insert this character because we haven't shown this character, and he's a major character that all the fans
the possibility of FF could be involved, but we're not going to do that. So it's just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like,
and where are all the X-Men characters, like the other X-Men characters? Like there's other,
the FF though, the FF at the same time, those three members, the Thing, basically everybody but Johnny have been members of the Avengers at some point.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's like things there. So okay, so I'm gonna give my scores.
Yeah.
I just
No, it was a good job explaining how you felt. I appreciate that.
okay. So my scores, first the cover. I wasn't a big fan of the cover. Sorry. It just is it's busy. It looks it was actually, I think, almost like an interior panel when they were in the Savage Land. I think it's like sort of like that scene. But it was just busy for me and it didn't really work. I would have given it a 2-star if it wasn't for the fact that it's a wraparound. I give wraparounds a half point more, so it gets 2.5 stars for me. So cover gets 2.5 stars. The interior art, it was very crowded. It almost felt like the cover. It was like very crowded and just like so much to like, in a way, it kind of like was so much happening on the page. I would have actually preferred like more standard modern books where they have a bigger splash pages, and it was just a lot of panels and a lot of stuff to follow. And in a way, the interior art kind of didn't work for me for that reason.
Sometimes simple is better, dude. It's more. It processes your brain more. It's a real style.
Panels. The only
Well,
panels
I found that the one thing that okay, so to complement the interior art, I find that when you have that many panels, it does make you kind of flow through it much quicker. Because it does break it up into small chunks. But then they had massive dialogue in between all those small chunks. So it kind of counteracted the effect. It was like, wow, okay, so much, okay, so I gotta kind of slog through this dialogue in order to get through all these panels. It became a bit of an endurance test. So I'm going to give it a 2. The interior, it's not necessarily the art. It's just the layout plus the art. I guess would be the story, like all kind of working at odds with each other. I've seen better interiors where it kind of works together. You can feel that the writing, the art, and the layout are all working together. This, I felt like they were a little bit antagonistic.
See, I felt like the inside had better shit than the cover, so I gave it a little higher.
Yeah, no, I could see that. There was parts where I agreed. Like I liked the way the Captain America part and Batman part were done, where they kind of it was much cleaner in that one section. The other thing that bothered me, by the way, just with the Captain America and Batman part, Captain America seemed like a hothead in the first one. And this one, all of a sudden, he becomes rational. It just seemed like a polar opposite of where he was in the previous book. So I was like, did I remember that wrong? It just seemed wrong to me. Something was wrong about that. And they just sort of like, oh, I guess we'll just go off. They're the team leaders. They could have said, hey guys, let's all take a break here and work it out. They didn't.
Yeah, maybe they should have spoke to their teammates a little bit better instead of keeping it under the hat. I agree.
Yeah, what's with that? I mean, it didn't make sense to me. So there's like things like that to kind of bother me. But okay, so so the writing, and that's the really a criticism of the writing, that they didn't make all those connections clear. They didn't they didn't allow. They could have maybe had less MacGuffins to chase after, and allowed more of the team building and the character development to happen. That would have been maybe a smart idea. They just had too many MacGuffins to go after, I guess. So for me, that the writing was a little bit weak in that respect because I was confused. I was like, didn't understand the characters necessarily that well. Yeah, I would give the writing a 2.
Okay.
And then overall, I give it a 2.5.
All right.
Because I did like the twist at the end. Well, that it was kind of obvious. I knew the game master was going to screw everybody over, and I knew that Krona was going to screw everybody over. So they kind of did what I expected, but it was nice
we're only
to see that
halfway
twist
through the series, right? So
yeah.
Well, what do you guys think's going to happen next?
Well, now they have to all team up against those big guys.
Yeah, it's going to be the people. Both teams are going to take it from the other two. Is what I'm guessing.
Well, I actually think that the fight between Thor and Superman, the way it ended, I think they're going to stop fighting, especially when Batman and Captain America show up and say, "Look, we have to work together."
Hmm.
You know,
This
both
is
people
what
are
they
used
explain the
to.
situation.
Yeah. I mean, say what you want. Captain America's stronger, but Batman is smarter. And Batman is a hell of a tactical genius. Where I'd say
Hmm.
Captain America's only a tactical genius in a fight.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, I'll take it off of you. I'm sorry. I'm just over here
it's
lollygagging.
like, but sorry to be so critical of it. It
No,
just,
Oh,
you're
I didn't write it.
Yeah, D took it really well. He didn't
it's
say
your
one thing.
feelings.
mm. but
This is a place where you can express your feelings about books.
But
Yeah.
for me, like I almost feel like we should pick some books where this isn't the case. I'm wondering what's wrong with us. We keep on picking these kind of books, and I'm not blaming you guys. I'm blaming myself
We're
as well.
just trying
We
to
keep on
pick books
picking
that
these
we
ones
all
where they're
enjoy. I
MacGuffins.
think. I think we're trying to pick books we all enjoy. It's just really hard
Oh,
to get.
actually, to be honest, we are actually picking books that are probably in a lot of cases out there, and we're giving to me, we're giving the crowd different books because
Very,
everybody covers the same books. I
yeah. I
find.
mean, it's interesting, but I mean, my point is like there seems to be this kind of situation, like, and where we're
Mhm.
picking books that have this very situation of showing two characters, they're fighting, they have to do something. Next situation, we've done 3 or 4 books like this now, and it's kind of weird to me that we keep on picking these ones.
All right. Well, this book had a total score of 48.50.
48.5. Okay.
48.5. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say about it. Was it feels like now it's going to be like they're all going to team up and they're going to go after Cronus and the Grandmaster or whatever the fuck his name is, and
Hmm.
that's going.
It's
I don't know though.
it it is they don't get there right away.
Okay.
But actually, there was a scene that I really liked of the Grand Master. There's one splash page of the Grand Master's digs, like where it's like his lair. That I thought was really really well done.
Oh
I
yeah,
do.
his little house. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
thought that was awesome. Like where they show all the cards, they show like all the different realities. It was like, and he's like collecting, like kind of reminded me of the Collector plus.
I do think that it's a good
Yeah, that one.
scen- a good scenario where it's a good idea the way they made it work. Um, I
Yeah,
think
that
that
was a great panel. Like,
yeah, I think that it was a good idea what they're trying to do. Like get all the power tools, make them fight for it. We got two people trying to sabotage shit like that. It was just the execution wasn't that great. That's not what.
Okay. So it comes to it's literally just under our book from last week of Hulk 2. At
okay.
60.6%, it's in the bottom half of our things.
Oh.
1, 2.
Yeah, I
Well,
would
it's
have said that I
directly
like
under
Hulk
Hulk
2
2.
better. So,
I like Doctor. Yeah. All
The
right.
books that are around it are Scrooge 35.75. Sorry. The Scrooge book, the Avengers, the X Factor 92, Hulk 2, and Wolverine 75. They're all in that 60 to 63% range.
It didn't perform badly. I mean, it was around average for Allen, a little better than average, and almost 3/4. And indeed scored it pretty good. So it didn't perform horribly. Um, y'all want to do some list books like 5 or 10, or you guys ready to pack it up because it's kind of a late night?
I've had a very stressful good day, but
I've had a
stressful.
bad day too.
All right, we'll pack it up. We could just wrap it up then. I was just offering. So, who's
Oh, it's
next?
a good idea, but
I think I'm next, aren't I?
you are.
I was trying to debate about which book to do. I was debating about doing a Golden Age or even a modern book. There was like a couple. I'm kind of worried about the one that I'm thinking of choosing. Okay, and you guys, because it is kind of I don't know how to say it. It is on the more extreme side of comics. Okay, and the
Yeah.
one I was thinking of doing, and you guys, we can try it out and see if you guys how it goes.
Yeah.
Is Crossed #1.
Oh, I've seen some of this stuff. Oh man, this is gonna be something.
This is harsh. It's like,
Crossed, as in CROSSED.
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember you recommending it, and I'm like, let me take a
It's-
little glance at this, and
it's one that
Yeah.
it's a bit iffy. Like, there's a lot of sexuality. There's a lot of like over the top gore.
Is
And
this
over the
one
top.
where is this one where Biggie would have to be concerned about certain panels being shown on his channel?
Yes, that's why I was debating about it.
well, just
Yeah.
we just can't show the panels. I mean, we could talk about it, but
There's
Right.
nothing wrong with discussing it. You just have to use certain words in certain.
Yeah, it is like it's one of those books where there's a line, and the name of the book is literally Crossed. So,
Lyle's pushing
goes over
Hansi
that
on us.
line.
well,
Yeah.
from what I saw, it didn't look too artsy to me. But we'll see how it
Okay,
goes.
so if that's too, actually, Hensi would be a good one too. Yeah, Lyle, that's a good choice. So if you guys think that showing something that's a little too extreme is a
I'm-
bit much, I would actually choose Hansi. That would be a good choice.
I'm good. I'm good with whatever you want. I just don't. We can't show titties and badgies and shit. You
Okay,
know?
let's because there's just too many things. Like every page is, it's just like so extreme.
So we wouldn't be able to show the book hardly ever. Okay.
Yeah, it would be pretty hard. So yeah, it's a good one to read though. Okay, let's go with Hensi.
Hey, we
Okay,
got our
Hensi's a
first
really interesting
chat
one. It's another
suggestion.
controversial one.
Yeah.
It's Lyle, good choice. I'll go
Controversial.
with that. It is.
The
So
title
Hensi,
itself is controversial.
it's the title that's controversial. It's not really
Yeah.
the story that's controversial.
Mhm.
So Hensi, the girl that loved the swastika, is the name of the
Oh.
story.
That's cool. Whatever. I don't care. Whatever.
But it's not what you think. It's not.
No, I don't think it's glorifying the swastika. So
No.
It's it's the other way around. Yeah, but it's a good story.
Okay. Whatever, Alan. You're a fucking freak.
Whatever, Alan.
You're a
That's what you want to do, man.
Okay.
you will calm down before we hit you with some tariffs.
Yeah.
I can't find my fucking microphone. I'm just talking into oblivion. Hold on. That's way the fuck over here. Can y'all hear me?
Bleaker thinks it's interesting, so you know it's going to be a winner.
Was y'all able? Y'all was able to hear me. It was way across the room. Okay.
Yeah, we were able to hear you. Yeah,
That's weird.
I have
My
to be
mic
right
was
next
like-
to my mic in order for you guys to hear me. But
Yeah, I would have liked to done some list books, but it is a little late. My kid's asleep, so I guess we'll wrap it up. So I don't know, dude. I was someone. Okay, so TM asked me if we're going to do club this week. I know we do it every 2 weeks,
mhm.
but I feel like since the hunt is just on Saturdays, I might be going once a week. I don't know. I don't want to wear y'all out, but I might do something Friday. If Matt's available, we could do the list, but if not, I might just do a hangout and do some battling shit with some whoever, you know. But
It's been a
you
while
guys,
since we did the battles. I'm
Yeah,
worried
I'm
that
good
people
to-
are getting a little bit bored with the list, and we've kind of finished the list, didn't we?
yeah, we're about what 5-10 books away, and then some like glossing
No,
over.
we got the 100. We got because we ranked everything. We got there. I think we're like 2 books away.
Yeah, we're like 1 or 2 books away, but we gotta just go over a list and make sure it's right, you know. Like I think that Chillin' 19's a 5-star, Silver Surfer 4 was a 5-star. It might not be in
Yeah.
that category.
I would, if I was going to give you advice, I would say that I think it's a good idea for you to do a weekly show. Your reason for doing every other week was to not overlap the hunt, but if you don't have to worry about that anymore, I think your channel, your Friday night show is usually a fun hangout for a lot of people. And Dude, it doesn't mean that anyone. The only one that's committed to it is you.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just a guest in your house. So people,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
they have the time to come in, they come in. When they don't, they don't. You always invite new people in. Like I think it's a good time. So
Yeah.
I would go. I'd go as often as you want with that one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if Alan and Matt are busy, we could do every other week for them. But I know that like Darth and Bobby Delegato and a few other guys are, they would pop in probably. So we'll do whatever. We'll see how it goes. So I'll probably do something Friday, and we might do some battling, I think. And so
Alan and the Five Amigos, Lyle put.
yeah, shout outs to Alan and Matt and Steppo and Lyle and the other Cheddar or whatever.
Hall, yeah, and Lettuce
Lettuce.
Comics.
Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, and Lettuce. They do it Friday. Do you got a show coming up, Matt?
I did my show last night actually with Alan, so I'm not going to be on again until Friday on Alan.
And we need lots of views on that show because right now Steven is winning, and that's not a good thing.
I don't. Oh, why is he winning?
Because his interview on Matt's channel got more views. So
Oh
we
shit!
can't
Oh, I
have
see.
that. We can't have that. That
Hey,
is
you
just
know he's
a
had 2
crime
weeks
against
to build
humanity.
that.
Who had more people on the live? Because you had quite a few.
Steven did.
Damn, I thought
See,
you had him
there's
there.
something wrong with the world today if that's the
Okay,
case.
Alan, yeah, Steven got me up to 40 at one point.
Oh,
Well, Alan was up to like 33 or something. He was doing really
I
good.
had no, actually, according to my thing, 28 was the top.
oh my goodness! I'm not even close. That's sad.
Yes, but Alan, I had 78 people come on. So that was a huge one at some point. For me, that's a big number.
All right.
Oh wow.
Well,
You had more than Steven. So I think people coming on were staying on with Steven, or we just got a lot of people at the end because I noticed that the numbers went like this at the end. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm gonna shout out Journey's Kickstarter, The Shift. Alan, what's your Kickstarter called, Alan?
Oh, my Kickstarter's over, so it's
I'll
done.
still shout it out. What's the name of it?
It was Vixens of the Golden Age.
Alan's Vixens of the Golden Age and Bleeker's Murder King, all Kickstarter stuff. So check that stuff
I'm
out.
actually interviewing CJ tomorrow.
Nice.
Not
And-
live, but it'll be airing on a Saturday sometime.
nice.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a little while because Alan keeps it in the can. But what up, Brian?
Mhm.
All right, guys, we're gonna roll out. Thank you, D man. It was fun having you on. It feels like it's been a minute.
Yeah, dude, I've been busy as hell lately, man.
Yeah, I always love having D on. So hopefully we'll get some more D action on the Biggie Shack Network.
you like some tea?
I do. All right, y'all. See ya.
Biggie. Biggie.